What's good, YouTube? Smashing Pumpkin here, coming at you guys with the video today. Today I'm gonna start a new series of mine called Which is Better, and I compare two cards I feel like are sort of comparable, and then I can give you like my opinion on which one I feel is better. And the two cards I'm gonna be covering today are Reptilianne Vaskii and Cyber Dragon, and also Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. The reason these two cards are very similar is because they both out a really scary card in this format, which is Mecha Phantom Beast Dracossack, which is pretty staple in the dragon deck that everyone's really scared about. Like, the big play first turn is to usually just make a Dracossack, and they can sit behind that and they can make plays from there and control the board. So basically, you try to tear down that position as quickly as possible. And these two cards both give very quick outs to this position. Dracossack makes 2/0/0 tokens using its first effect, and generally it doesn't pop something on the very first turn. So Vaskii, you tribute both the tokens they make, and you special summon it, and then it pops the Dracossack, which is very good. While Cyber Dragon, on the other hand, you can special summon it and then contact fuse to make a Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. And I'll kind of discuss like the pros of each. The pros for Vaskii is that it's searchable through King of the Feral Imps, and it kills both tokens and the Dracossack, so that gives it a big advantage. And then you can potentially OTK with it because its effect will then destroy the Dracossack, which leaves their field wide open, so you can potentially get through and win that turn. The pros of Cyber Dragon and Chimera Tech is that Cyber Dragon is a really versatile card, and it's very adaptable. Like Vaskii, it has to have Dracossack in order for it to be alive. Whereas Cyber Dragon, you can just special summon it whenever your opponent has a monster on their side of the field, and it's a level 5. And it has some pretty good attack stat with 21, which is pretty good. It can be played against a variety of matchups, like you can play it against Gadgets or Machina, Gravekeepers. There are a lot of like lower tier decks that you can play it against and still do a really good job against those. And also, where Vaskii is not really very suitable for the main deck because it isn't like a very good card against non-dragons, Cyber Dragon can be main decked because it is just a beater and it's a special summon. So you're not even wasting your normal summon for the turn, which makes it a pretty solid card. And yeah, I guess there's a little bit of overlap. So like the cons of Vaskii are the fact that it's only really good against dragons, and it's only really good against the Dracossack setup. Like if they go for something non-traditional, you're kind of stuck with just a dead Vaskii. Also, not every deck can really make King of the Feral Imps because it's a rank 4 exceed. So Vaskii really is only viable in like 3 decks, maybe. And Cyber Dragon's drawbacks are that it doesn't really destroy the entire setup because it doesn't get rid of the tokens automatically. Because the ruling is that since Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon has to send the materials to the graveyard, and then the tokens can't technically go to the graveyard, that you only get the Dracossack for the fusion, which is kind of lame. I don't really understand why, but it's the way they ruled it. And so you're stuck with the 2 tokens you have to get rid of, but since they're 0/0, they're not really that hard to get rid of. And also they're tokens with 0/0 stats. So basically they have to make another Dracossack in order for them to be like live again. So that's that. Which one I think's better? I really think Cyber Dragon's a lot better for most decks, but not necessarily for all the decks. Cyber Dragon might not be like the best decision to play in like yeah, Cyber Dragon's like probably the best decision for like every deck can basically play Cyber Dragon is what I'm trying to say. Where not every deck can really get away with playing Vaskii as well. Because Vaskii really needs like King of the Feral Imps in order for it to be like a lot more viable. Because once you lose its searchability, then you have to like rely on drawing into it, which is kind of inconsistent. Yeah, that's really my opinion. I think Vaskii is really good in Gadgets and Evil Swarm because you can churn out like rank 4 exceeds no problem. So on turn 2, after your opponent makes you the Dracossack, on your first turn basically, after your opponent makes the Dracossack, you can just make the rank 4 King of the Feral Imps, detach and get the Vaskii, and then you can go from there basically. Whereas Cyber Dragon, it's just a little bit better, I guess, in my opinion anyway. It's a lot less of a dead draw too, because your opponent could just not have a Dracossack or all the tokens on the field, and you're just kind of stuck. So this is just my 2 cents on it. Thank you guys for watching. This is Smashing Pumpkin signing out. Peace.